Hey everybody, welcome back to HemingwayLand.com, your source for quality, affordable land in the state of Hawaii. Got another new property on the Big Island, this one in a new subdivision we have not previously listed in before. This is part of our ongoing pursuit to have property in all the subdivisions throughout this county, different acreage, different locations, different price points, etc. This one, as noted in a subdivision we've not previously been in before, but I really like this area. As you can see from the photo, here, it's a very picturesque region, and it's got power, paved road access. Additionally, it's got a lot of residences out here, but these are some pretty nice homes. They're not McMansion type homes, but they are, you can tell it's a nice, quaint, well-preserved community. So I'm very intrigued by this. I like it. I think you guys will too. Let's talk about it a little bit. This is reference number HIHI5842, located as noted in Hawaii County, aka the Big Island. This property is 0.21 acres. That is 0.21, so it's not 21 acres. It is rather 1/5 of 1 acre, and it is located in the Pacific Paradise Development Subdivision. And as you saw up top, this property is priced at $5,500, which from what I've seen of this region is the lowest out there, lowest comp in this very small subdivision, but we're well below all of the realtors that I see out there. Anyway, with all that said, let's pull it up on a map, show you guys exactly where it is. Come down here, click the GPS coordinates, and up on Google Maps, this property shall appear. So first, let's zoom back a little bit, talk about where this is on planet Earth, and then we'll get into specifics. So this is Hawaii County. This is the Big Island. Over here in the eastern part of the county is the Puna District, and this property sits in the Puna District. This specific subdivision, Pacific Paradise, is this little cutout area right here, this, and this region down here that you're seeing. So it's kind of a small subdivision, but it sits in the Mountain View region, in very easy driving distance here of the Mauna Kea Highway, Highway 11, the belt road that goes around the island. As you can see, you just sort of turn off this road right here, take it out here, go up, and then boom, you're at the home site. Now, additionally, it should be pointed out that this property is in very close proximity to Keau. So if you just take the 11, you're going to be into nearby Keau. This, of course, is a happening little town where you're going to have, you can see that this is a pretty well-developed little region over here, where you're going to have access to things like groceries and supplies, as well as just, schools, churches, and medical, restaurants, nightlife, things like that. If there's anything you can't find in Keau, of course, you've got nearby Pahoa over here, but more importantly, you've got Hilo Town up here in the northern coastline of the island. This, of course, is the region that is the most built up on this island. This is where you'll have the most dense concentration of people, places, businesses, so on and so forth. You've got the international airport here, the golf course, giant Walmart, schools, the colleges out there, so on and so forth, as well as the beaches along the northern shore. Speaking of beaches, it should also be noted that this property is in pretty close proximity down here to the eastern coastline, southern eastern coastline of the island. You're right here by Kalapana, by the lava viewing area, as well as by the night market, the farmer's market that takes place over here. And then you've got a really scenic drive up the 137 where you'll come to the Kehana Black Sand Beach, as well as when you go further up here, you will reach the Poihoiki Black Sand Beach over here. Of course, both of these are excellent places for swimming, surfing, so on and so forth. I think one is better for swimming than the other. I think one is better for surfing than the other. But either way, great places for recreation. Lay out there, get a tan, read a book, whatever, play with the dog, so on and so forth. But living out here in this subdivision, you're going to be in pretty close proximity to all of those things. Yada, yada, yada. All right, guys. With all that said, let's zoom in on the property here and talk about specifics. So, this particular 1/5 of an acre lot is located here off of Palm Tree Drive between Kukui and Orchid Place. As you can see, like I was pointing out earlier, you've got a pretty nicely developed area here, homes, a lot of people living in this region. Additionally, paved roads and power at the lot line of this property. Now, I'll just show you. This is the plat overlay. This is the property itself. It's this little rectangle right here. If you come to our photo gallery down here at the bottom of the page, you'll see a little bit of what I'm talking about here. Number one, we have the Google Earth overlay to give you the exact sense of the size, shape, location of this property. Additionally, we also have the plat map here, which will show you, which will sort of back up not only what I'm saying here when I show you Google Maps and where this thing is located, but you'll also get a sense of the fact that this is the way this whole subdivision was chopped up into these 1/5 of an acre lots. So all of your neighbors pretty much have this size and shape property, this much land. So you're not going to be at a disadvantage having you know, when you hear a fifth of an acre, maybe you think, well, that sounds really small, but when you see that that's what everybody has, it doesn't feel that way so much. Anyway, additionally, we also have photos from the region. Now, of course, as with all of our photo galleries, we get photos taken from the property itself. The first few pictures in the gallery are just from the local community out here. As you're going out to the property, what stores, what businesses you might find out here, post office nearby, churches, etc. And then you kind of get into this mountain view area where you have, I mean, this to me is just cliche Hawaii beauty right here. Look how gorgeous this is. This is a Little League field and it looks this pretty. My God. Anyway, but as you go through this, you'll see more of this Pacific Paradise area. As noted earlier, this, I think I said this, the property backs up to the Waiakea Forest Reserve, and you can see a little bit of that here in these pictures, but specifically, you know, just this pretty region right here. Anyway, I'll get to that in a second. Orchid and palm tree, these are the cross streets of the property, and here you can see exactly what the property looks like. Now, it should be noted, let's get to a better photo for this. Here we go. You got paved roads, you got the power running up and down right across this lot. So invariably, whatever you end up constructing out here, you're going to have an easy time and an affordable time getting power hooked up to it because there's power running throughout the subdivision. Here's some pictures of these nice homes. These are the ones just right across the street from the subject property. You know, as you can see, there's a sense of pride of ownership out here. If you look at the homes that we have photographed here in the gallery, these are all pretty nice. You know, nice little suburb here in Hawaii. So that's my way of saying it's not a bad neighborhood. It's not a shady neighborhood. It looks like a good place to live. Blah, blah, blah. Now, I'll just point out to you guys, when you have a lot that's this densely forested, like pretty much all of Hawaii is, this you know, tropical climate, in order to build on it, you're going to, number one, you're going to want to get a dozing permit. You're going to want to get it bulldozed. It's also called a grubbing and grading permit. Those are fairly easy to obtain. As you can see, all your neighbors have something like that. That's how they built out there. Blah, blah, blah. Additionally, it should be pointed out, and I'm pausing on this picture because I just want to show you guys, a lot of times we'll get calls about these Hawaii properties like, how do I drill a well? What do I get well water at? And what I try to explain to people is that that is not common in Hawaii. It's not like it is in New Mexico or other parts of the continental U.S. Instead, out here, for various reasons, but mainly because of the great deal of rainfall that they get out there, a holding tank like this, a rainwater catchment system like this, is going to be the best way to get water, drinking water, bathing water to whatever it is that you're building on this property, etc. Anyway, guys, I will let you explore the photo gallery on your own, but I did at least want to point out to you some of the things just about the property there, about how densely covered it is with forestry and how that's going to be something you're going to have to concern yourself with if you buy this and then if you want to build on it. Blah, blah, blah. Now, let's just talk about the Forest Reserve for just a second here. So, as noted, this lush green area that you're seeing right here, this is about 640 acres of what's called the Waiakea Forest Reserve. So, all of this is a protected area, meaning that it is unlikely, at least anytime in the near and immediate future, that anybody's going to come out here and build a Walmart in your backyard, that anybody's going to start to destroy this. It's a protected region, and also there's a lot of great trails out here for hiking, biking, etc. I believe there are also companies that give ATV tours throughout the region, so you can experience some of the best trails. Now, up here on the listing page at the top, we have a link. I'm actually, we're going to redo this a little bit and have this last sentence linked to it, but this is the Waiakea Forest Reserve trails webpage where you can go and you can learn about all these sort of trails that exist out here, so all the exploring that you can do, all the just great exercise you can get, going on walks, going on bike rides out there, etc. Anyway, a couple links I just want to make you guys aware of with this. So, in regards to the property, this is not something I was able to find a great deal of information on as far as zoning or as far as covenants. I could not find any covenants that exist on this, and I couldn't get anybody on the phone who could explain to me much about the zoning out here. Now, when I look at a region like this that has, let's say, homes like this, power and paved road access, I'm going to assume that there's a sort of pride of ownership thing out here. There's a sort of, we don't want you coming and parking some sort of eyesore on the land or building some sort of half-built structure, etc., etc. That being said, I can't attest to it. I can't point you to any document that says, here's what you can and cannot do in this region. I would just say that when you look at an area like this, you can kind of make certain assumptions that building a home like this is probably very acceptable, and doing something a little unconventional like a shipping container or a tiny home or something like that might not work as well, though being as it's Hawaii and they're fairly progressive about those things, about sustainable green living, it may be something you could do. Ultimately, this is not anything I could get real answers from either the county or from realtors in the area. So I would encourage you, if you're interested in this property, it's a piece of research, it's a piece of due diligence. I normally like to kind of have some sense of or point you guys in a direction before I make one of these listings. Unfortunately, it's something that I really could not find a lot of literature on or advice on. That being said, historically speaking, whenever I've seen a neighborhood that looks like this, that's usually what they like their neighborhoods to look like. So single-family residence is probably good. Anything else that you want to build, I'd look into it. I would make sure before you give us, $5,500, that is something that you, in fact, can build out there. Oh, by the way, I stopped at that last photo. I just want to show you guys just exactly how pretty this is. I mean, this is not just photographer's talent. The region is genuinely this gorgeous. So anyway, take some time and peruse through those on your own. Additionally, we also have some links here in the table that I want to make you guys aware of. The first is Helco, the Hawaii Electric Company. If you click on this, it's going to bring up their website. If you want to talk to them about, hey, I'm looking to buy some land in Pacific Paradise, I'm going to be building a home out there, there's already power at the lot line, what do I need to know about getting hooked up to the grid? They'll be able to talk you through that, about whatever costs are involved in that, about whatever logistics are involved in that. Additionally, if you would like to learn more about what I was talking about earlier, the rainwater catchment systems, we've got a company here, Waterworks Hawaii, that, as you can see from their website, they install these sorts of things. Obviously there's going to be codes, there's going to be building codes, there's going to be things you need to know as far as the county is concerned about, the health and safety of the water that you're drinking, etc. But if you call a vendor, they're usually a lot easier to get on the phone than the county, and they'll usually talk to you a lot more about it than the county will. And they can speak to you about it with certainly greater authority than I can. Point being, these are common out there, and if you have questions about, hey, I've never dealt with this before, what do I need to know as far as preserving the quality of the drinking water, as far as how many, X thousand gallons do I have to have on my property at any one time, these would be excellent people to direct those questions to, and they can talk to you about installation costs and about just what you need to know if you're going to build out there, and this is how you're going to be getting water at your house. What's that going to cost? What do you need to know? So we provide those resources to help you better with your research. All right, guys, with all that said, just direct you up here. If you are interested in purchasing this property, there's a couple ways to do this, but it all starts with clicking the Buy Now button. Click that. It's going to take you to a secure checkout page. We're asking for $5,500 for this property plus a $150 dock prep fee, so $5,650 total, and then we deed the property into your name. You begin by just sort of giving us the name or names that you want on the deed, marital status, as well as tax address. Where's Hawaii County going to mail your annual tax bill? Annual taxes, by the way, on the property, because I neglected to mention that, are $200 a year. You can pay $100 in August and $100 in February. They make it easy on you. Anyway, once you've got all that information, click the terms down here, agree to them, click Next, and on the next page we will ask for credit or debit card information. Once you process that and you give us the money, as far as we are concerned, the property is yours. But the way this process works is we are going to contact our attorney in Hawaii. They're going to draft a new deed plus supplemental docs. In fact, I would just direct your attention. We have a little write-up about this down here under attorney closing where we explain how this process works. Point is, attorney's going to draft the new deed. We're going to email it to you. Make sure you approve it. Once you say, yeah, it's good, we're going to autograph it, notarize it, and mail it off to the county to be recorded. So pretty soon after that, we'll be able to email you a copy of the recorded deed, but from start to finish, it'll probably be about 3 or 4 weeks before you have a hard copy of that recorded deed in your hand. As noted, once you give us the money, as far as we're concerned, you own it. County, as far as they're concerned, once they record the deed, you own it. So, FYI. Now, that is one way to purchase the property. If, however, you want to get title insurance on this, or you're just skeptical about giving money to some guy on land, to some disembodied voice online, then you can contact our offices at 702-919-7170. We'll ask you for a deposit, $500 down, and then we'll take the rest of this through a title company. So, if you want to learn more about how that works, come here to the Buying From Us page. It'll take you here and it'll talk to you about how we do these types of closes. The one that I described earlier is what we call a notary close. But if we're going to close through title escrow, then the process would go like this. Basically, we ask for earnest money deposit, $500 say. We're going to draft a contract. We sign it, you sign it. We'll submit it to a title company. Once they get that, they'll begin their research. And then probably about 4 weeks later, they'll contact you for the remainder of the money. And they'll contact us and have us sign the new deed. For the record, guys, in case you're like, hey, I don't want to put down money unless I see what kind of contract I'm going to sign. Well, helpfully, look at this. We have a link to the exact contract that we use, or rather, a generic version of the standard contract that we use. Let me refresh this page. There we go. So it's a pretty simple contract, one page for signatures. But basically, you sign it, we sign it, we'll submit it to title. Title will not lift a finger or do anything until they have a document like this demonstrating intent from buyer and seller. So we like to provide that. Now, One last quick thing, guys. If this is a property that you're interested in and you don't have all the money, but you'd like to get the money, I'm just going to point you to a link that we have down here. Hawaii Federal Credit Union. If you click that, it's going to bring up their website. This is actually one of the rare lenders who lends on vacant land. As you can see here, vacant land, 4.75% APR. Now, I would highly encourage anybody who's interested in just financing any sort of property in Hawaii, whether it's mine or anybody else's. Check these people out. Check this organization out. I have not dealt with them personally. I mean, I've read through what they have here, but I can't vouch for their lending program personally. But it seems very agreeable, and it seems advantageous, particularly the kind of buyers that we have who always want to do financing. 4.75% interest rate is far better than I would ever be able to provide. I can't finance these properties unless I'm getting a 50% deposit, and then I still need to usually make an additional quite a bit. My interest rate has to be at about 15-17% for it to make sense to me, and that usually does not make sense to a buyer, and I don't blame you. So check out HFS, check out Hawaii Federal Credit Union, and talk to them about loans for vacant land and what you need to know, and perhaps they can help you purchase this property or another property that we have or that someone else has in Hawaii. Anyway, with all that said, guys, thanks for watching. If you have any follow-up questions, give me a call, 702-919-7170. Shoot us an email, support@hemingwayland.com, or leave a comment here on the YouTube channel. We always love the comments, and we respond to them pretty quickly. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.